Hello and welcome back to Small Talk. We have got a great episode ahead as we chat with a pair from Shenandoah. I'm your host, Katie Mucci. Each week on this show, we highlight the past and present of Division III, with both current and former student athletes joining to talk about their experiences, their favorite on-campus spots, the craziest road trip stories, and more. This week, we're chatting with Elise Velasquez, a member of the field hockey team, alongside a former member of the program and a current assistant coach, Wendy Ware. The two talk about the winners of a team lip sync battle, their hopes for the future of field hockey, the growth of the program, and more. Thanks for joining this week. Now it's time for some small talk.
Hi, my name is Elise Velasquez. I'm a current member of Shenandoah's field hockey team.
Hi, I'm Wendy Ware. I am a former field hockey player at Shenandoah University and goalie coach currently.
Well, thank you both for being here today. I think we're 44 episodes in. I think this is our first field hockey episode. So very excited to finally get to chat with a field hockey student athlete, or a couple field hockey student athletes. So thank you so much for being here today. I know it is summer, so I appreciate you taking time out of your summer to talk with us. First thing we're going to chat about is on-campus life. So Wendy, you mentioned it, you're back coaching there. So you can really give us an example of how things have changed, but I'll have you start, Elise. When you and your teammates are hanging out, when you're going out to grab coffee or dinner, what are some of the best spots for the team to be hanging out? And then Wendy, if you want to follow up and let me know from your playing days if that's changed.
So we have some good coffee spots. The first one that came to mind was Hopscotch Coffee. It's like right around the corner outside of the entrance of campus. That one is really, really yummy. We love that place. Local coffee. We also really, when we go out to dinner, we have a couple favorites. We have El Centro, which is a Mexican restaurant. We have another Mexican restaurant, Taqueria Guadalajara, that's kind of across the field from our old stadium, across the street, sorry. And then I would try to say maybe Roma's for like a good pizza or Italian food. Water Street for some feel-good food. Yeah, and those are all anywhere on the strip, I feel like is where we like to go just because it's so cute and it's a good little walking mall and there's a bunch of different shops too. So I think those are our favorites. Yeah.
Are there any just general hangout spots on campus, like a quad or a building or anything like that that you guys go to?
Yeah, it definitely changes depending on if you're on campus or off. I think on campus, a lot of the dorms are fun to hang out in. In Parker, where I lived freshman year, there was a little game room in the basement. So that's where a bunch of my friends hung out. But we do actually love to hang out on our field, our new field, Aikens Stadium. It's new as of like 2. Just love to go and lay out there. There's Adirondack chairs and it's right kind of in the center of campus, so that's fun. And then I would also say Sarah's Glen. It's like it's our quad with the little river coming through campus. There's also Adirondack chairs there, so yeah, we like to hang out outside a lot. So those are probably our 2 favorite spots.
That's good. Wendy, how about when you were a student athlete?
So a lot has changed since Elise has come on, because when I first started back in 2003, we really only had Chili's. That was the only restaurant that was known. It's developed so much more now. So now, 50/50 is great, another great place. But like Elise was saying, downtown's just grown and developed so much over the years that there's a lot of really good restaurants and coffee shops. As far as hanging out back in the day, we used to have this place called The Grill, and now the students at SU have their own student center. So that's where it's moved to. But we used to hang out there a lot. And again, like Elise said, dorm rooms was pretty much the go-to. But Shenandoah has developed so much that there's a lot more to be offered than there was when I was a student.
I'll follow up really quickly on things. So you said you got there in 2003. Were you a part of the first program or were you like 1 year after? I was trying to figure that out mathematically.
It actually was the first year.
Okay. How is that coming to a college where you didn't have like a team to look at is what you were joining and things like that? What was that process like?
Well, a lot of mixed feelings. I was 4.5 hours away from home, so that was a huge thing in general. And then getting there, joining the team helped for sure the transition, because going to a school is scary alone, not knowing anyone, but being a part of a team helps you feel more comfortable knowing that you'll grow with your teammates and have the same experiences, and have someone to rely on. So scary at first, but it definitely helped me feel comfortable at Shenandoah without knowing anyone in the beginning.
I'm sure it was nice to also have a bunch of people who also didn't know anyone because everyone was new on the team, I assume. So everyone
Yes,
got to feel
I
that
did.
at the same time.
I did have one best friend though back home. We played field hockey in high school and junior high together, and we actually came to school, both to Shenandoah University. So that was helpful too.
That's awesome. I'll stick with you to start this next one, Wendy. So one thing I always joke about on this podcast is we talk about travel. D3 is much more condensed and much less travel probably than Division II or Division I, just how our conferences are in our schools. But you guys do travel a bit. So when you think about that, when you think back to those first teams, the first year or two of the program, what was the travel situation like? Was it vans that your coaches were driving? Were you on buses already? What was that like? And then Elise, let me know if that's changed for you.
So when I first came to Shenandoah, we didn't completely have a full team. So our game schedule wasn't as big as it is now. So we didn't travel as much. When we did though, we did have a bus. We didn't have a van, thankfully. But those experiences were again exciting because we got to do it together as a team. But we didn't travel again as much as we did now. But the best part about the travels, and I think, you're going to probably touch base on this with the food after, where we eat now is night and day to where my coach used to take us. So they're definitely lucky.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of talk about the nutritional quality has gone up from some of my guests who graduated a bit ago.
Yeah, we used to do Wendy's all the time.
Wendy's, Chili's, not too many options back then.
No, but now it's like you can just think of anything, and it's in Winchester. It's unreal how much it's developed.
That's awesome. Elise, what is the travel situation like for you all now?
Yeah, we take buses. Well, our team fits on one bus, so we take a bus. Let's see. We get our food either before the game or after, just depending on when it is in the day. Usually after, just because you don't want to eat a huge meal. Food wise, it is really, really nice. We have a bit of a smaller roster when it comes to when you look at other teams on campus. So we're able to have bigger meals, I guess, or like better quality, I think. We can go into like restaurants, sit down before if we have time, or we'll get like catering. A lot of Italian restaurants. Sometimes we'll actually go to like one of our teammates' houses if we're close to their like home and just have like a family meal there.
Also, coach always makes sure they have snacks on the bus as well.
Yeah.
So that's very beneficial. So it's usually one of the team members will make sure that's on the bus. She definitely makes sure they get a good meal either before or after. And also we're very grateful for our parents. Because sometimes they'll even do tailgates after the game, which is so nice because, it's nice to go out to eat, but the opportunity that we have to spend quality time with the family after the game and eat something, I think that means a lot, and it really helps our dynamic as a team in general and getting the opportunity to meet other members of their families for the team.
Yeah, so much fun. Those are probably like the highlight of home games, honestly. Trying to think of other options. We do get our occasional fast food, but those are kind of a little treat for us as well.
Yeah, cookout.
Just depending on where we are. Yeah, cookout is so good. We have a funny story actually. I think it was my sophomore year, maybe. We literally walked through the cookout drive-through. So
because they
there
weren't
was like
open.
pictures and videos of this random team, and it was us. Yeah. So the inside wasn't open, so the whole team got out of the bus and we walked through the drive-through. And
that
they
was
accommodated
COVID
us. They were awesome.
That was
I was
one of
about
the
to
COVID years.
Yeah,
I was
think
gonna
so.
say they usually don't let you walk through those things. I have
Yeah,
tried.
no.
Good for you guys. I'm sure like a whole
Yeah.
group of people versus like one person, they're like, okay, let's not upset an entire team.
Yeah, well, I think we actually
Yeah,
ended
we're
up on a
definitely
social media
holding up the
thing for
line.
that.
We did.
That's awesome. So we mentioned you don't maybe go too far, and especially when you were starting out, Wendy, but you probably have gone to some cool places, hopefully during your time there on the team. So starting with you, Elise, what are maybe some of your favorite trips you've taken, any touristy or fun experiences you all had as a team?
So we do an overnight at least once a year. So we've gone to, that doesn't include the COVID years, but we've gone to Ohio, New Jersey, and I think this year we're going back to New Jersey. You can double check that. I'm not really sure about super touristy things, just because when we do overnights, we're like packed with like 4 or 5 games in a row in the span of like 2 days, 3 days. I don't know, depends. But it is fun to just take like a long weekend with everyone. We get have roommates in our little hotel rooms and we do a bunch of fun stuff at the hotels. Coach always gets nice catering, or we have a super awesome group of parents. So they, like Wendy said earlier, they always come as like a big group, and they'll set stuff up in the hotel or meet us at the hotel just for like a little barbecue cookout. We have a lot of stops at rest stops, I would say, just so we can all use the restroom, get a little snack from the vending machines if we want to. Those are fun because we'll take some cute pictures. Most of the time it's like good scenery as well. I'm not really sure. Wendy can also help me with this.
One thing that I enjoy now as a coach, because when I played, we didn't do overnights. So I enjoy that. I have my own family here, but they're like my second family. So when I get to go on trips with them, it's always enjoyable. Again, it gives you more of an opportunity to know the team, know the players, know the family, and just grow off the field rather than just on the field experiences. And as far as mine goes with touristy, I would say just going to one another's houses on away trips. Like we still do that today for some of the team, but that was probably our biggest thing. Our coach used to take us to a lake and we would do like team building, and that was fun. Even though it was local, it was just nice to do something together that wasn't field hockey oriented.
Definitely.
We do try to do that like in preseason. We do at least 1 or 2 team bonding experiences. Like one year we went tubing. I think this year we're hoping to do something with an amusement park. I'm trying to convince coach. So stuff like that.
Put it out into the world right now and manifest it that you're going to go to an amusement park for your team bonding. No, Wendy's shaking her head now. So now let's kind of go back on campus, talk about academics, and also talk about Shenandoah and what brought you both there. So starting with you, Wendy, I know field hockey was probably a part of that decision, but obviously you probably had options of other places to go and something drew you to Shenandoah, or some things. So for you, when you were making that decision out of high school, what really was the deciding factor or factors to get you to go to school there?
Well, I know that when I was done in high school, I wanted to continue to play sports. That's just something that's always motivated me to do well in the classroom, because I know if I did that, that it gives me the opportunity to be a part of something else. And that was one factor. My coach actually came and recruited me at some of my games. And she really, I don't know, when I talked to her, like she just made me feel like I could accomplish anything. She believed in me. She saw something that I didn't see in myself in 2003. And I was like, this is where I want to go. This is where I want to be. It was 4.5 hours away. I was very skeptical of that, very family oriented, nervous for that step. But I think I was just at the time in my early life that I was like, it's time to grow up. It's time to cut the cord, move 4.5 hours away, figure life out, and just see what happens. Worst comes to worst, what, you go home, right? So let's try this out. Let's see if you can grow and develop and continue to play sports and do the academic side of things. So I would say probably my coach is the number one reason why I went to Shenandoah, and I'll forever be grateful for that step, because I still live here now, and I've developed fully with my life, and you never look back.
Yeah. Have you stayed there the whole time since you graduated, or did you leave for a little bit?
Nope, never went back home. Never went back to New Jersey. I stayed here. Since I graduated.
That's awesome. And is that just the community? Obviously, you have a different coach now than when you were playing there. Now that you are a coach, but what drew you to want to be a coaching staff member?
So when I was finishing up school, my coach then, she gave me the opportunity to continue to stay on board, and I was like all about it. So I did with her. Then, unfortunately, she had stepped down and stopped coaching, and there was another coach before Coach Ashley now. And then I stepped away for a couple years. And then I received like one of the best phone calls ever when Coach Ashley called and asked if I was interested in coming back. And like without a doubt, I don't think I asked my husband at that point. I was like, yeah, like what do I need to do? Like I love to come see you, come talk to you, whatever. Um, Again, another one of like my greatest opportunities in my life because I enjoy it so much. And the experiences that I have now are so awesome. Like working under Coach Ashley is so much fun in so many different ways. She just really has developed that program into something I never thought it would be. And I'm just glad to be there for the ride.
That's awesome. Elise, for you, it's about 4 years ago, I guess now, you decided to make this transition to college. I assume were you a 2020 high school graduate?
I was.
So when you were making that decision, you might not have even gotten to visit campus, although you might have snuck it in before everything shut down. How was that process for you? And what was the deciding factor for you to go to Shenandoah?
Yeah. I was lucky enough to go to 2 clinics and 2 overnights before COVID hit. So I was able to go on campus. And I am from Northern Virginia, which is just like an hour from school. So my club coach was actually Coach Ashley at the time. And I saw Wendy and I saw some of the other coaches or the players actually on the team as coaches of my club team. So I've known Coach Ashley for, let me think about it, like 11 years now, 10 years, something like that. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to go play in college, but I was just looking for somewhere that like felt like home to me. I didn't want to go super far. And Coach Ashley, her being my club coach, she was actually helping me through the recruiting process, like looking at other schools. And once I visited her school, once I visited Shenandoah once, I was like, yeah, this is kind of where I want to go, I think. Just because everyone made me feel so at home. All the players were so awesome. It was close to home, but not too close, like not like 20-minute drive. Just over the mountain, and I already had such a good relationship with Coach Ashley. And then I started growing my relationships with other coaches, like Coach Wendy, saw her so much on my club team. Other old players who actually still come back, like alumni. And yeah, I just like knew that I wanted to play. And they have really great athletic schools. The nursing school is really good at Shenandoah. And then I was originally looking to go into physical therapy. That's really good. So yeah, it just felt right.
Awesome. So now let's get to some story time. So the first thing I'll have you both share is your funniest or craziest but appropriate story. So Elise, I'll stick with you first. What is your funniest or craziest story?
I feel like I have two that come to mind. The first one actually involves Wendy. When we went to our overnight this year, we were split into groups and we did lip sync battles. And the coaches were like, oh yeah, we'll do one. And I didn't actually know if they were gonna do it. So all of our teammates went and they did their lip sync battles. They were great. We all dressed up. We practiced ahead of time. And then all of a sudden, Wendy and our assistant coach Bloom and our another assistant coach Kelsey, they come out in these like full outfits and they did the best lip sync battle I've ever seen. So that was probably one of my favorite moments. Just seeing Wendy get out there and they had like the craziest outfits on. Like I can't even begin to describe them. They definitely won lip sync battle. Yeah, that was probably like the funniest so far.
Wendy, what was the song?
Salt and pepper, push it.
Okay, very good, very
I mean,
good.
and enough to be said, right? I mean, what else?
Yeah, exactly. I can picture it now. For you during your playing days, Wendy, what was one of your funnier, crazier stories?
I have one where we were playing up on the hill. Nowadays, the girls have a phenomenal field. We just have our own field now, which is even better than playing on the football field. But before then, we played on a thing called the Rock, and it was what you would imagine the Rock would look like. Nothing but a dirt mess. One game, it was raining, it was pouring, and we had a corner. And defense was everyone was in the goal, ready to go. As soon as they went to hit the ball, I go out to try to block it. Again, I was a goalie, so went out to try to block it. And all of a sudden I hear something behind me, like a squeal. And it sounded almost like I don't know, some type of wild animal was behind me. So I turn around. Well, here's my defender on the ground because she slipped in the mud and she's squealing and she's trying to get up and she can't get up. And we're all like looking at her like, do we help her? Do we go get the ball? We don't know what to do. It was just so funny. We bring it up all the time. Even, I mean, all my teammates and I talk still to this day, extremely close. So that's always a story that comes up of the Katie squealing in the goal cage because she fell from the mud.
I love it. I'm sure she was not pleased to hear that you guys all thought she was a wild animal. That's what she sounded like, but I love it. That's funny. Now let's talk about favorite memories. So something that you hold near and dear to you after your time playing. So we'll go the reverse order and I'll have you start with this one, Wendy, and then Elise, you can follow up.
So I have a lot, but that's just because I've been with the program, I feel like, for so long, playing and not playing. As far as playing goes, I would probably say the bond. It's not like one memory, it's the bond that I have with the girls still now to this day. My teammates from 2003, we still talk on the regular. We go on beach trips together. So that family bond that we've created, that means the world to me. My coach is a memory that she just, again, when I was talking earlier about her, with she always saw something in me that I never saw. And that always means a lot to me because I feel like I tend to reflect on that one. And as far as like an actual recent memory, I would say one of the greatest feelings is winning a championship. But the greatest feeling is knowing where the program started and then winning a championship and seeing the growth over the years. And when we beat Lynchburg in the championship, that was probably one of the greatest feelings ever. Again, just seeing how far Ashley has developed this program at Shenandoah University and how much I know, Bloom and I both know she deserves that, and so did the team. And it was just an awesome, awesome feeling. And to be a part of that, to be a part of the journey from 2003 to today, it's just, that's my moment. It's not even like one moment. I can't even put it on. It's just being a part of it over the years has been the world to me.
What is for you over those years? I know it's probably like a very hard question to pinpoint, but what's the biggest change you think has happened over those, what is that, 21 years?
I would say the respect of the program. People on Shenandoah University campus, they talk about field hockey. Back then, the only thing they ever talked about was football. Now I would say field hockey is probably the top three athletic programs at Shenandoah University. People respect us. People come to our games. It's just so different. The atmosphere is so different. And that's the culture that Ashley has created at Shenandoah on and off the field. Academically, the girls are phenomenal, and on the field, phenomenal. And they represent each other the right way you would want girls to represent, whether it's on the field, off the field, in the community, in the classroom. Ashley has created this culture that is just so awesome to be a part of. So that would be my thing. It's respect, the culture, and the program's development just in general.
That's great. Well, you were a part of that from the start as a student athlete, now as a coach. That's also part of you're doing as well. Elise, what's your favorite memory from your time?
I think mine was this past season. It was winning semifinals. So every year that I've been here, besides last year, we have lost in the semis to the same team, Lynchburg, our biggest rivals. And this year we were able to play WNL in the semifinal game, and it was at home, and it was just like the most amazing feeling ever. Like we had such a huge crowd come out. WNL is a very, very good team as well. Lynchburg and WNL are probably like top three competitors in the ODAC. So there's always a huge rivalry amongst the three of us. And that was just the most incredible feeling ever. I remember the buzzer, and then I was like running over to one of my co-captains, Maraid, and coach, and like we just were like, no wait, we actually just did that. Like, of course you're gonna have confidence and you're gonna know that like you have the game, but you never know what's gonna happen. And that's kind of the past 3 years before that were proof. So that was probably my favorite feeling. And then I ran over to my parents and everyone's taking pictures, and it's just like that was just my favorite moment, I think. And I just felt very, very grateful to be there. So
Awesome. So now we're going to get to a couple of Division III questions as we wrap this up. The first one, you both are or were Division III student athletes. So what is that, or what has that experience meant to you, just personally, whether it's you got to get great academics like Shenandoah has, or you got the opportunity to be involved in other things outside of your sport. Just what has that experience meant to you as a D3 student athlete? I'll have you start.
Yeah, honestly, I've loved every single second of it. The balance, everyone always talks about the balance of having like sport life and other life. So that's been really easy to manage in my experience. But I also have gotten extremely involved with the campus. In a bunch of clubs, just doing stuff in the community. Field hockey, our team does a lot of community service as well. So just knowing people around then, I've done like internships, and then going back to get my MBA, like that's kind of something that I didn't think that I'd be able to do. And now I am doing that. And it's just fun. Like I just love being there. I love Winchester. I love Shenandoah. Everyone is so nice. The community, everyone, all the athletes, conservatory, everyone mixes. Like we're all like Wendy was talking about, we all have respect for each other and each other's programs. So I think it's been amazing. Like I wouldn't trade it for the world, honestly. I'm so grateful that I chose Shenandoah, and like I feel like I've made the most of it. So yeah, I've loved it.
Wendy, for you.
I think it makes you more of a well-rounded person, having the opportunity to, like Elise was saying, with balancing out academics and athletics. You definitely, D3 is, it's not D1, right? But it's an opportunity to be able to do both, to not feel overwhelmed, to have opportunities, like Elise was also saying, with joining clubs. Shenandoah University is a wonderful place to where there's more than just athletics as well. So, we get there for the sport, we go there for the academics, but then we have a chance to go to the conservatory, which not all universities have, which again gives you a different outlook on other people's majors, and gives you an opportunity to see more. Like Shenandoah is very community driven as well. So we have the opportunity to be more in the community, whether it's we're doing a community service or just representing Shenandoah in general. Yeah, I liked it because I could handle it. I don't know if I could have. I personally, athletically, am not at D1 or D2, but I don't know if I would be able to handle both as much as I could at D3. I got to enjoy the sport and the time I had while I was there, and still do well in school and pursue what I wanted to do academically without feeling too stressed out.
Now I just have to ask on the side, what is the conservatory? Can you explain the conservatory to me?
Oh, yes, of course. I love the conservatory. So when I came to Shenandoah, I had no idea what it was at all. I was like, what is this so different? Like, never heard of it. It's a phenomenal addition to Shenandoah University. Actually, Shenandoah was mostly known for the conservatory before the athletics started around 2001, 2002. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm right on that one, because football was the first sport there. But anywho, it is anything from musical theater to orchestra to vocal to Elise, am I missing something?
We also have music production,
Thank you.
dance.
So it's just cool because as an athlete,
Yeah.
you go to a university thinking, oh, I'll go to a sports game. But now you can go to see like a play. You can go see someone. So they have a thing called Black Box, and they do like a small little acting thing. Or you may go see the orchestra or see some vocals. It's just so neat. Again, because it's not what you go to university thinking that you're going to go enjoy, and it gives you a different look on just not watching sports all the time.
That's really cool. Do you have any student athletes on
We
the
actually
field hockey team that? Oh,
Yes, go ahead, Elise.
I was just saying that we have one right now who's a music therapy major. She's actually my roommate. She's awesome. She's an incredible player. She's got first team all state, I believe, like yesterday. Those came out. We've had it in the past as well, but yeah, it's really cool. We get to like do both. And I just see like all of her, she does like in gigs in the community.
And Katie, another thing that she does is awesome is she actually sings before the games, every game, the national anthem. So that is a treat in itself. It gives you chills before the game, and it also is like a motivator because you're like, all right, now I got to get going. Farron just got done singing, everyone's pumped up, we're ready to go. But yeah, it gives you an opportunity, like Elise was saying, like people are in different departments of the university, and you are like, oh, you're in the conservatory, then it's an icebreaker. It gives you opportunity to learn someone else's their passion, and yeah, just well-rounded at Shenandoah for sure.
That's so cool. I love that. So we will now wrap it up with the last question I have. And this is one I always joke about. You're going to have to pull out your crystal ball and try to look into that and figure out what you think. But this podcast is part of our 50th anniversary. So we're 50 years down, many, many more to come in Division III. When you think about the future of D3, and that can be generally or specific to field hockey, I'll let you each choose your own adventure there. But when you look at the future of Division III, what do you see or what do you hope to see? And Wendy, I'll have you start and at least close it out.
Is it bad to say I was hoping you were going to say Elise to go first?
That's okay.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. I just want to see it to continue to develop, to continue to grow. Like with it being 50 years this year, it's come so far, right? So like it just is. I know we can't predict the future, but I just hope it stays the same and just gets bigger. More respect's added to it. Maybe more spotlight is added to it. I think a lot of people still don't know certain sports in the D3 world or just in general. I'm constantly still telling people what field hockey is, right? So how cool would that be 25 years from now, or even 5, say field hockey, and oh yeah, I watched that the other day, or so-and-so school has that. But that's always been a struggle, I think, since I've played, people not knowing, depending on the area of which they live in. So I would love to see that, or just like more interest in it.
That's a great point. I actually grew up in Texas and didn't know anything about field hockey until I went to college and started seeing it. So very good point there. Elise, how about you?
I would say the same. Like, I think I just want it to grow. Field hockey is a very East Coast sport. So moving it across the country would be awesome. It's huge in other countries, but in US, it's still definitely growing. Maybe a little bit more diverse. I think it's getting there, definitely. And people are working hard for that. But, you always want a little bit more diversity in any sport. Yeah, I just really want it to grow. I want people to talk about it more. Like Wendy said, I want people to be able to say they can like watch it on TV or just pull it up. And I mean, we have the Olympics, and like we do have, I think now you can stream field hockey on like CBS or something. That was like a big thing that just happened for us. So yeah, I just really, really want people to like know more about it, maybe try it out. I love when we have local elementary schools come and we show them what field hockey is. I'm like talking to all the little girls like, hey, you can do this too. Like you can come to our games, stuff like that. So I think that it's doing really well right now, but could always be better.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for joining me. Like I said, it's the summer. I know you probably have lots of fun things you could be doing, but I appreciate you taking time out of your day to hop on here and be our first field hockey episode of the year.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you
Have
for the
fun.
opportunity.
To everyone listening, thanks for tuning into this episode of Small Talk. We post new episodes every week. To follow along with everything Division III, you can find us on social media at NCAA D3 or NCAA DIII. Make sure to join the conversation with us all year long by using the hashtag DIII50. Have a great day, and we'll see you for some more Small Talk next week.